Well, hello everyone. I'm Cyrus Ojadi, Strong Towns, Las Vegas, local chapter leader. And I've been interested in urban planning since 2004, SimCity 4. I've been aware of the new urbanist movement since 2007, but Strong Towns has done a way better job than new urbanism. We'll give them a good applause. I think your approach has been really great. So I moved there from Southern California. I'm doing an infill project in Henderson. Bought the land, design, we're gonna do the construction. But my long-term goal is to build on the outskirts, but differently. What do you think about that? And you know, we're focused on fighting stroads and parking minimums. Those are the top two issues.
So the question was, what do I think about doing the development out on the edge, or the infill development, or what?
Well, both, but outskirts is going to be done differently.
Yeah.
We can't just build an invisible wall around
Right.
the desert.
I feel like there's a tension right now. It is easier to work on the edge than in existing neighborhoods. In like multiple dimensions. First of all, there's fewer people out there. Second of all, they're kind of primed for change. If you're the property owner and you sell, you're kind of acquiescing to the transaction that would bring change with it. If you're in a core neighborhood, the marketing brochure of what you've been sold is stasis. Like, this is not going to change. And so if there's going to be change in those places, you have to negotiate more people, more feelings, more concerns, more issues, and it's just harder. It's also harder to do it at scale. So what we see is a lot of the innovation happens in the places like least suitable for that style of development. I don't want to go apocalyptic on you. So let me try to say this in a certain way. I'm gonna say this, and we don't know each other real well yet, and you all haven't read the books and the site, some of you. So I'm gonna say something that's going to sound crazy and radical, and if you want the numbers, I can back it up.
Cool.
We have built way more roads and pipes and drainage systems than we have the capacity to maintain.
Amen.
We have more in the ground that we've committed to than we can actually financially meet those obligations. If you take that idea seriously and you look at it, what that means is that at some point we will have fewer roads than we have today. We will have fewer pipes than we have today.
Oh.
We will have to give stuff up that we think now is like a permanent thing. That's a cultural conversation you're not close to having yet, but you will have someday. Everybody is having it, and it just depends on where you're at in that time frame. In regards to your question, what that is meant to me is that I'm not sure what neighborhoods will survive and what neighborhoods will go away. And I've been less like uptight about innovation happening on the edge, because if it creates a new model that people can see and find not scary, if it figures out a market niche that maybe people want to meet and we can demonstrate that, sometimes it's got to go where it goes. But in general, building out on the edge is the most fragile, precarious kind of thing, because that's the place that 30 years from now you would be more likely to not have than have today. So if I'm a city, I'm trying not to put my vitality out there. But if I'm a private developer, like it's not offensive to me if you want to do that, right? I just think you're taking a bit bigger risk. You're sacrificing some long-term resiliency, which may or may not matter, in exchange for a short-term expediency. Because it'd be harder to do that in like a core existing neighborhood.
We barely have any in Las Vegas.
Yeah. And in 35 years, this exact same street would become this street here. And as my city continued to grow, incrementally up, incrementally out, and thicken up and mature in place, eventually these 2- and 3-story wood structures would be replaced with buildings of brick and granite, which is the exact same street. I like to show, I used to show multiple cities transitions here. Mine is a very small town, 14,000 people today, but I want to show you that this dynamic exists in other cities as well. This is a city that you have probably heard of. This is a square actually in that city in 1878. I have a few photos of this square as it evolved over time. At some point here, you'll probably recognize it as Times Square.
You know, one thing I've noticed I forgot to talk about is how these streets are so wide. Man, the width is probably like 100 feet or something. It's no wonder these areas aren't too walkable. And you get all these accidents, which I don't know how exactly it is here. So you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen, we're driving on the southern edge of the city. More stroads, more subdivision, more sprawl. The layout and design is what we really have an issue with, mainly, not the detached homes, to just kind of clarify that. So you can see right here, and a lot of this looks like areas that you would find in our area, southern Nevada. You can see more stucco. There's still some notable differences. Look at the commercial design. So this is the view of St. George right up front. You can see the D. See all those tract homes, beautiful cliffs, amazing natural landscape. But see a lot of urban planning problems right here. Now you could see here, this is the grid street, the more walkable, not too walkable areas. You can see the downtown, the temples, the historic district infill areas, a lot more trees than you have in Las Vegas. You see less Mediterranean Spanish style homes, different types of architecture, and even different colors, more redstone, which I like. But then you could see right here, this unattractive stroad right here. You go right here, and then it goes more of this tract home, cookie cutter development, you know, kind of in there. It's not all in one bowl, but you could see further out exactly what's going on. Is what we just talked about. See the transition.
So everybody, for an introduction, this is Strong Towns, Las Vegas. We're exploring in St. George, Utah, and basically this is just very common sense things. The Earth's temperature is at 60 degrees temperature, and this wall, this mountain, these little rocks will provide your home insulation, and it's stronger. This ground is stronger than soil, so you don't have to dig a foundation. You don't have to buy concrete. This right here is your concrete foundation. Come this way. Come this way. And what I'm suggesting is that put pieces of wood and go across this way. And wood crossing that way, pillars that go up, and you build up. This is your wall. This is going to insulate your house.
Cool.
Better than anything you can buy out there. Look, this is 20 feet of insulation. This is 10 to 15 feet of insulation. This will keep your house cool. And then right here, Cyrus, show them the stairs.
Yeah.
This right here is stairs already. All you have to do is just chip out a lot of that. Chip out that rock, and you already have stairs made.
Cool.
Right here. These are natural stairs.
Yeah, so you could see here, oh yeah, they posted this ad everywhere. Yeah. This is one of the businesses, and this is what, hats over heels right here. And you could see they put all these antique stores, these really these unique boutique looking shops, which, you know, I really like these things. I think we should really have more of them instead of just your typical strip mall, big box store. But of course, our local policies that we have doesn't really make these kinds of environments, these kinds of opportunities so visible. Look at this. Spending all this money on free public parking right here. Like, yeah, that really solves the problem. Look at all the brick exterior decor they put in to make everything look okay. But we all know this doesn't solve the problem. We all know there's alternatives, man. Look at this. You got this really nice town square right here. Oh, yeah. Good for entertainment. Look at this right here. It's got some kind of main street right here. You can see a lot of the businesses. Kind of pedestrian friendly, not too much, could be better. A lot of one level businesses. You see some masonry on the exterior. You know, kind of blends with the natural environment. This is, I don't know what this is. This is probably an office building, multi-use. So it could be a little better, but it's fairly decent. You could see right here. So you got this downtown right here. Let's go right here. And then you've got this temple right here. And look, you got that mark on top. And you just go right here. I think they've been doing some infill development here, of course, obviously. Cost of housing, but they could certainly do more. Yeah. Look at this building right here. Kind of has this Romanesque, Italianate look. You can look at all the stones. It keeps the buildings cool. All these double hung windows, the tower, the lantern, cupola on top. Then you look at this gazebo, this nice park area. Really is kind of a sense of a place. A lot of the benefits of the old historic cities. Keeps people cool when the sun is out. And this is another one of these buildings. Fairly attractive. Not too ornamental, but really stands out. I like the materials, the red stone. Masonry goes well with the area. You got some brickwork here. And then look at this right here. Look at the structures you have out here. You got some historic buildings. Let's walk up a little closer. You could see right around here. Kind of has this colonial look. So you could see here, look at these probably beautiful historic homes. I think you can go all the way back to, I think it says the 1850s. Right here, 1860s. And look at all this stonework, the window grids, the very symmetrical look. We've got this folk Victorian design right here. We got some really interesting quality homes right here. Wow. Makes you think they should build a lot of the new homes a lot like these. But let's just go to the street view. And as you could see right here, see, look at all this asphalt pavement. It's like no wonder why the streets can speed. You have all this room for parking. You could at least have a median, possibly more room for sidewalk, bike lanes, things like that. Yeah. See, this is why we're having this event with the Strong Towns president. Now, this is kind of the end of this downtown, or the original city around the hills. And then you can see here you have more of these infill, mixed use, I guess you could say 5/1 buildings. And this is one of the buildings that we've seen being built in a lot of the downtowns, frankly, probably all over the world, believe it or not. And so it makes you want to ask, well, is this the right way we should do it? So I like the fact that there's more housing supply and things are closer together, but is this design the way it is the best we can come up with? Look at these stucco foam boards, the quality of the materials. you just look at the details and the design, how it just doesn't really stand out as good as the old historic buildings. So why should our choices be the typical spread out sprawl or this? Perhaps we can have a better alternative.